Mic on. Video. Mic on.
Audio on. Am I audible? Yoga is a light which one's lead will never dim. The better you practice, the brighter your flame. A warm greetings to one and all present here on the day 2 of Faculty Development Program on Integrating Yoga in Higher Education on the occasion of International Yoga Day, International Day of Yoga 2022 organized by Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research. Before moving forward, I would like to extend my warm grace to Organizing Committee Chief Patrons, Thiru A.N. Radhakrishnan, Chancellor Maher, Mrs. Jayanti Radhakrishnan, Rector Maher, Patron Professor Dr. R.S. Neelakandan, Vice Chancellor Maher, Additional Patron Professor D.C. Kritika, Registrar Maher, Convener Dr. Shyam Sivaswamy, Director IQAC Maher, Organizing Secretary Dr. R. Ilangovan, Professor and Head FIST Maher, Co-Coordinates Dr. S. Murugeshan, Associate Professor FIST Maher, Dr. V. Subulakshmi, Associate Professor FIST, Dr. G. Ramakrishnan, Associate Professor FIST, and Mr. A. Annadurai, Assistant Professor FIST, and Organizing Committee members, PhD scholars, and students of FIST Maher. I call upon Priyadarshini, MSc Yoga, FIST Maher, to sing a yoga prayer.
यस्यत्वारूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतः अनेकधा अनुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिः विषमविषधरः अनेकवक्त्रसुभोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिः भुजगपरिकरः प्रीतये यस्य नित्यं देवो हीशः स वो व्यात् स्थितविमलतनुः योगदो योगयुक्तः. Thank you.
The multidimensional aspect and its scope has increased in modern life of 21st century. Full-scale incorporation of yoga in higher education provides a good opportunity for researchers to design methodologically sound research protocols that can better ascertain whether the yoga programs are indeed delivering the desired effects. This information will help to both improve the program and provide evidence of benefits to encourage its continuation. With these words, we begin our second day, first session on faculty development program. Now I hand over the dais to Nalini.
Thank you, Pallavi. So now it's welcome address by Dr. S. Murugesan, Associate Professor of Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, MEENAKSHI Academy of Higher Education and Research. Before inviting him, I would like to give a small introduction. So Dr. S. Murugesan, who is very specialist in alternative medicines, and he is more specialist in yoga and naturopathy, acupuncture, Varma and Thokanam, Panchakarma therapy, and Varma and herbal science. He worked as a guest faculty for diploma, PG diploma, BS for yoga and alternative medicinal system from 2014 to 2019 in Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University, Chennai. Currently, he is working as the Associate Professor of MEENAKSHI Academy of Higher Education and Research, Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, Chennai. He has organized so many national conferences, and he is the Board of Studies Committee member of Maher, and he is the organizing secretary for national workshops, and he has written 18 course material on yoga and Indian traditional medicinal systems for various courses of Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University Distance Education. He has won so many awards in like Yoga Acharya, Yoga Ceremony, and so many awards he has achieved. And his specialization is yoga therapy, Siddha, Karma therapy, naturopathy, and Panchakarma therapy. With this introduction, I welcome you, sir, and hand over the session to you.
Very good morning to one and all. Present on this second day of the online faculty development program organized by Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, MEENAKSHI Academy of Higher Education and Research. I feel privileged in welcoming our beloved Dr. R. Ilangavan sir, Professor and Head, FIST Maher. It gives me immense pleasure. In welcoming our guest speaker, Dr. G. Rajeswari, Associate Professor, Alagappa University, Grand Master, Yogacharya, Fecunda Lekundo, Director, Yoga, Argentina, and Professor Master Shekhar, Medical Practitioner, President, Malaysia Yoga Wellness Association, and Miss Nirmala Chaitanya, Shivananda Yoga Organization, Canada. I welcome you all learned speakers. I welcome my colleagues, Dr. B. Sublachini, Associate Professor, FISD Maher, Dr. G. Ramakrishnan, Associate Professor, FISD Maher, and Mr. A. Annadurai, Assistant Professor, FISD Maher. We welcome all the scholars and students of FISD Maher. My hearty welcome to all the participants participating in this program. Once again, I welcome one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for welcoming our guests. From leading nations to standing up for human rights to running the world's most important organizations, women continue to shape the world through the leadership. May I now request Dr. G. Rajeshwari, Assistant Professor, Alagappa University, College of Education, Karaikudi. Outstanding woman, she is outstanding woman in the field of educational psychology, gold medalist in Masters, Best Performing Teacher Award. She has also achieved Best Faculty Awards and many such awards and prizes. The list is outstanding. Ma'am has 14 years of teaching experience and 10 years of research experience. Her areas of research are advanced education psychology, biological science education, education technology, environmental education. She is the coordinator of Alagappa University Study Circle and Assistant Director, Director of Online Program, Alagappa University. She has life members in Council for Teacher Education, All India Association for Educational Research, CAPE Forum, U Trust, Kanyakumari District of Association for Women Empowerment and Child Development. She has achieved fellow membership in Indian Academic Researcher Association. She is an question paper setter and external examiner for B.Ed. M.Ed. in various universities. She has presented 28 papers in international conferences, seminars, and workshops. She has attended 58 national conferences, seminars, and workshops. She has also conducted 37 regional conferences, seminars, and workshops. She has completed 3 projects. She has published more than 20 articles in the reputed national and international peer-reviewed and indexed journals, published more than 50 papers in proceedings of national and international conference seminars. She has also published 6 chapters in edited volumes and authored 3 books. Her topic for today's webinar is social issues and higher education. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you for your warm welcome. Am I audible?
Not audible, ma'am.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. A pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizing committee of this faculty development program organized by the Faculty of Yoga Sciences and Therapy, MEENAKSHI Academy of Higher Education and Research. I should thank them for giving this wonderful opportunity to share my views with regard to the theme given to me, social issues and higher education. My hearty wishes to all the participants and particularly the teaching fraternity here, who are really the role models for the future citizens. So let me begin my session. I shall share my PPT with you now. The topic given to me is social issues and higher education. When I discussed with the organizing committee, Professor Ilangovan sir, I clarified with him whether I should share my views regarding the social issues in higher education or social issues and higher education. And then I got clarified. I have to discuss with the social issues and higher education, how the higher education attempts to addresses the social issues. That's the most needed one, the need of the hour. So we shall continue with that. Let me begin my presentation with the quote by famous educationist, the thinkers. I begin with Mahatma Gandhi ji. Education is a basic tool for the development of consciousness and reconstitution of society. So education is very important in every society. It is important source for the growth and development to shape the lives of people in a country. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This is a quote by Nelson Mandela. Of course, education changes everything. So education, whatever may be the changes that we expect for the progress of a nation, that should be brought only through education. So academia has to do with everything, even the economy, the social, political, and everything, every aspect. Education can bring changes in the society. So in that way, education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. This is a statement by Albert Einstein. So in present day society, in this digital era, education, the imparting of knowledge or mere conveying of information is not at all necessary. And the students, from the point of view of the students, we teachers are one of the sources of information. And they get the sources from many, they used to get the information from many sources, and we teachers are one of the sources for them. So the ultimate aim of education is not the imparting of knowledge or the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So this is the most needed aspect in the present day society, the training of the mind to think. So we, the responsible teachers, the teaching fraternity, should keep this as a main objective, and to train the youngsters, particularly the youth, to think. Of course, you people, most of you are yoga practitioners, and so you may develop the overall personality of the students by incorporating several techniques, yoga strategies, mindfulness strategies, and so many things. But in general, the holistic aim of higher education is to develop the holistic personality, which means physically, to create individuals who are physically strong, mentally sound, emotionally stable, and spiritually grounded. So for this, the change should come from their thinking. So we should train the mind to think. So before entering into the session, I want to refresh you all with a small activity. It may take 1 minute, I think. Shall I? With the permission of the organizing committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I request all the participants, if you are interested, you please take a piece of paper and put 9 dots, 3 into 3. Okay. Am I clear? I shall show you like this. You have to three into 3 dots. So you have to put 9 dots, and the task is you have to draw a single line to connect all these 9 dots. You should draw a single line to connect all the 9 dots. we can have several attempts. We may try to connect it without taking our hand on a single stretch. We have to complete the line connecting all the 9 dots. This is a task. Of course, you may attempt, but here we may work out several times. We may arrive at the solution even in the first attempt or in few attempts. When we think uniquely, here thinking is the most important aspect. Any one of you have come out with the answer?
Participants, you can switch on your videos and you can show it to your ma'am.
See, what is expected here is the thinking that is out of box. That is, we used to think narrowly. We will try to attempt in solving the puzzle. If this is easy for that, that's why I have taken a mathematical puzzle. Situational riddles are also there. And our life problems are also similar to that. The everyday problems that we used to face, that has to be approached in a different way. So here, what is expected is the divergent thinking out of box. Just leave the problem as such, and when we do some other work and when we come back to that, a spark will come and we may arrive at the solution. But maybe as I have already mentioned, in the first attempt or after a few attempts, we may come to the solution. If nobody has guessed, I shall show it in the end of the session, the answer for that. Okay, so the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. So this is what is needed, that makes our life in harmony with all existence in the world. We should live in harmonious way with all the people and other living beings who are existing in the world, in the society. So that comes our theme. So the lack of that harmony leads to the several social issues. So there are so many social problems in our society, in our everyday society. So many social problems. I cannot list all the social problems. It will take nearly more than 2 hours to discuss all the social issues. So I have taken very few notable social issues here, and I'm going to discuss about how higher education addresses attempts to address those social issues. And female infanticide, feticide, child labor, women or child abuse, sexual harassment, malnutrition, drug addiction, alcoholics, poverty, illiteracy, homelessness, corruption, dowry, sexual assault, caste discrimination, smoking and drinking, robbery, child marriage, and so on. The list goes on. But the 3 important problems, the crucial issues that are the platform, that are the foundation for all the other social issues, are the poverty, illiteracy, and unemployment. So let us see this unemployment. So unemployment refers to the number of people who are available and looking for work, but who are unable to find the jobs. So these people are qualified and they have the certain skill set, but they are not able to get the jobs they are aimed at. The Center for Monitoring Indian Economy's monthly time series data revealed that the overall unemployment rate in India was 7.5% in April 2022. Actually, the unemployment rate in India was 8.10% in February 2022, which fell to 7.6% in March, and then dropped to 7.5% in April. Though at 7.5%, the overall unemployment rate is falling down. It is still high for a poor country like India. So it is important to note that to be considered unemployment underemployed means a person must be an active member of the labor force and in search of a remunerative work, but he could not get that job he is expected for. And the next important thing is underemployment. As far as the unemployment and underemployment is concerned, more than unemployment, underemployment is the serious issue in an Indian context. So underemployment is a measure of employment and labor utilization in the economy that looks at how well the labor force is being used in terms of skills, experience, and availability to work. So here the individuals, they are not getting the jobs as per their skill set, what they are aiming at. But so they are forced to get into some work at low wages. It may be because of the variety of factors, starting from the economic recession to business cycle, change in technology. And here we can say that this moving into the digital era, even the ATMs and mobile banking and the net banking replaces the need of many bank workers here. And plenty of college graduates you see after completing their graduation, they are taking up the jobs of waiters and drivers in Uber, because you see, for those jobs, actually, the digital technology does not easily replace the roles of a driver or a waiter. So, but for this job, the skill set required is not a graduation actually, but they are underemployed for that job. And underemployment is actually calculated by dividing the number of underemployed individuals by the total number of workers in the labor force. In India, the ratio of underemployment is higher when compared to the unemployment. And there are two types of underemployment, visible underemployment and invisible underemployment. When we see the visible underemployment, in which the individual works very fewer hours that is necessary for a full-time job than the expected one. So in that case, they may go for some other part-time jobs in the remaining hours, and that too they will be paid less for that job. So that cases may be considered as visible underemployment. And invisible underemployment refers to the situation where the individual cannot find a job in their field of expertise, and so they work in a job that is not commensurate with the skill set, and in most cases they are also less paid. So this is invisible underemployment. So here, this employment and the underemployment is the serious issue regarding the progress of Indian nation. The next important social issue is the gender disparity. Gender disparity or gender discrimination or gender inequality. It is gender disparity is defined as the differences in women's and men's access to resources, status, and well-being, which usually favor men and are often institutionalized to law, justice, and social norms. So, as per this GGGR, that is Global Gender Gap Report 2021, published by the World Economic Forum India, India is ranked at 140 out of the 156 countries. The Global Gender Gap Report provides scores on the Global Gender Gap Index, which examines the gap between the men and women in 4 dimensions, that is economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment. So on the basis of these 4 dimensions, the GGR is giving that index that clearly shows the gender disparity exists. Here, there are so many problems in everyday media. We can visualize so many gender-related issues are very common in the Indian society. And to overcome this, the education system is taking so many steps and initiatives to overcome this gender disparity, giving girls equal access to the education. And even state government of Tamil Nadu has now made an announcement that ₹1,000 will be deposited monthly to the girls studying in government high secondary schools to pursue their higher education, so that they may be given access to the higher education. And there are so many steps also. Next is the poverty. Poverty is again a serious issue. It is a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essentials for a minimum standard of living. In a narrow sense, it can be defined as those necessary for survival, or as broadly as those reflecting the prevailing standard of living in the community. So when a person could not fulfill his basic needs like food, home, clothes, even drinking water, he or she may be considered as living in poverty. So in India, according to the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index reports 2019 and 20, 21.9% of the population was poor in the country, and the number of poor was pegged at to 69.8 million. So according to Niti Aayog, 25% of the population in India are poor. So every fourth person of the total population of India is in poverty. So in the according to the World Poverty Clock in 2021, roughly 6% or 86.8 million of the population are living in poverty. And regarding the state level statistics, Kerala has turned out to be the state with the lowest rate of poverty in India. And as per the index, 0.71% population of Kerala is poor. This is the lowest rate recorded. And Kottayam was once, Kottayam of Kerala is the district with without poverty, zero index. That's why. And the states like Bihar, Jharkhand, and Uttar Pradesh have registered the highest poverty rate across India, and they have emerged as the poorest states in India. And the causes for poverty in India is mainly because of the malnutrition, illiteracy, unemployment, and underemployment, and the low level of economic development, unequal distribution of the resources. And sometimes because of the lack of or improper implementation of the welfare policies, and even some of the agriculture, the farmers and people below the poverty line, they may not be able to get the subsidies, or they may not be able to repay the loan, or they may not be in a position to utilize the schemes, the welfare schemes available to them. And in some cases, the natural disasters, famines and some others also may result in the poverty. And there are so many poverty alleviation programs in India, and we are in the progressive state. Actually, we may not say that we are in an extremely critical situation. We are in a progressive state, but anything may happen at any time. We should think of the Sri Lankan condition. So we should be aware of all those issues, and only education is the only media, only platform through which we can eradicate slowly, at least to some extent, we can overcome the social issues. And the next important issue is the population explosion. Actually, we occupy the second position in the world countries. We are the second most populated country in the world, and we have plenty of resources. But the explosion is a sudden increase in number of individuals. So here, regarding the human population, because of the population explosion, we are in demand of utilizing the resources available to them. Naturally, this demand will have a severe impact, which has severe impact on the utilization of resources, the economic aspect, and it leads to other social issues one after the other. So naturally, it leads to the environmental problems. The population explosion, it leads to the environment problems, and the utilization of resources is affected, and there is scarcity of resources, and we are looking for the alternative resources. And for this purpose, now we are in dire need of educational researches. So higher education is now attempting to fund more and more for the environmental projects, and many new researchers, their outcomes of the researchers are now implemented through policies. And so in the way they are promoting the alternative resource, utilization of alternative resources to safeguard the present generation, and also to have the sustainability for the future generation also. So in this aspect, this issue could be addressed better through higher education. Juvenile delinquency. It's another social issue. where it is defined as an antisocial or criminal behavior committed by a person who is under the age of 18. That is, who is not an adult actually. That is why we call juvenile. There are two types of juvenile offenses. They are status offense and delinquency offense. Status offense or behavior of drinking or possessing alcohol, consuming tobacco, running away from home, truancy, or not attending the school without any good reason, and violating curfew or examples of status offenses. See, for these, considering the age of the offender, these behaviors are prescribed. And delinquency offenses, they violate those that violate the legal statutes that also apply to the adults in criminal justice system. So these acts include the offenses like murder, rape, robbery, armed robbery, and aggravated and simple assault, harassment, stalking, menacing, child abuse, and other similar offenses are considered as delinquent offenses. So we very well know as teachers, we are very well aware that the reason for the juvenile delinquent behaviors or the lack of parental guidance. First thing, the care. Maybe the children, most of the cases, when we study the case studies of the juveniles, most of the cases, they may be orphans or a single parent child, or those parents who are antisocial actually, and who are not at all taking care of their children. So in that case, that may be the reasons from the parental side. And the next is the lack of education, the access to the education, when they are denied the education, or they may be dropouts from the education. So education, one side the parents, and the other side the lack of education, so they are becoming antisocial. So here, when they enter into, even after completing the education, when they enter into the higher education, the same tendency of that behavior, the harmful behavior exhibited by them will continue. So in that case, as teachers of higher education, we should notice them and we should give proper guidance, not only the career, but personal guidance for them to bring out the modification in their behavior. That is the moral guidance that we have to give to those children to get away from those delinquent acts. Child abuse. Here, the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act defines that child abuse means any recent act or failure to act on the part of the parent or a caretaker which results in death, serious physical or emotional harm, sexual abuse, or exploitation. So any harmful behavior directed towards the children may be termed child abuse. It is not just physical violence. It may be of any form of maltreatment by an adult which is violent or threatening for the child. So here, the persons who are indulging in those activities are people of young age. Many of the cases, it is reported that the people of young age. So it is our responsibility that we should educate the youth and the young people through in the higher education sector. We must give them education to protect the child rights. According to the National Crime Record Bureau, 109 children in India per day face some form of child sexual abuse. This is the rate as per the 2018 statistics. So child abuse education, and we should get involved with the parents in the community, and disciplining the children thoughtfully is very much needed to overcome this particular issue. And the next one is communalism. Of course, communalism is the major social issue that exists even from the British colonial period. It means, in the broad sense, it means a strong attachment to one's own community. It is understood as unhealthy attachment to one's own religion. Of course, the communal affinity is a positive aspect, but to some extent only. If it is highly, that means if it is the higher degree of that affinity may affect sometimes. So in order to unify the community, this communalism suppresses distinctions within the community and emphasizes the essential unity of the community against other communities. So it promotes belief in orthodox tenets and principles. And so naturally what happens, the intolerance and hatred of other religions arises that divides the society then. So this is the thing that what our education system promotes is the communal harmony. So everybody should respect the other religion. Religious tolerance should be developed. So come through the communal, how can we build that communal harmony through our higher education system? So the ill effects of communalism is mainly the hatred and the distrust. So it disturbs the social peace in any society. So here, how can we build that communal harmony is through education. So we should understand that social and economic problems through logic rather than the prejudice that it's developed by their own communities. So we should go by logic, that the education should develop the power of reasoning. Illiteracy. Again, illiteracy is again a serious problem. I have mentioned already that illiteracy, unemployment, underemployment, and poverty, and these three are the major social issues, which is actually the foundation for the other social issues. All those social issues are interlinked with each other. So here, illiteracy is a state whereby one is unable to read and write. Lack of sufficient education. We can simply say here the literacy and numeracy, lack of literacy and numeracy is illiteracy. It is a major problem throughout the world. Here the illiteracy rate of India as per 2021 is 25.96%. Actually, what are the main causes of illiteracy? When we see that, the main causes is the poverty, lack of parental awareness about education. Maybe the parents may not be educated. Illiterate parents can't encourage their children to get educated. And even many social, economic, and gender discrimination may be the problem of not getting the education, and the lack of access to educational facilities. Poverty, unemployment even is also maybe a cause for illiteracy. And what are the measures that we can take to overcome this illiteracy is providing free education. Of course, government is providing free education to overcome this. Appropriate awareness about getting educated, provision of the grants and financial sources, and digitalization again is and government of India has encouraged to reach the nook and corner of a country through the Bharat network, through the Bharat optical fiber network. So digitalization is everywhere, at least through the media and the technology, the advent of technology, everyone will be helped hereafter, motivated and encouraged to learn, read, write, and achieve the fundamental literacy, what they are expected of. Here we should also focus on the adult literacy. Adult illiteracy should be overcome by the lifelong learning, the adult education. That's also a part of important objective of the higher education. Government has taken several steps and good initiatives are mentioned in the National Educational Policy, making India as a universal knowledge superpower. So there, good amount of good research knowledge has to be developed, and that idea has to be transmitted through the teachers, and students should adapt or accept and use those knowledge. Make use of those knowledge. So Digital India program for digital literacy, India has taken several steps, Digital India program and National Digital Literacy Mission and so on to make this, to solve this social issue particular. And lack of quality education. So this is a most serious issue as far as our society, any society is concerned. Any society can be destroyed if the education system is collapsed. If the quality is diluted, that society can be easily destroyed. So quality education is the most needed one. Of course, we are proud of telling that we are the third largest education system, higher education system in the world, next to US and China, with respect to the quantitative expansion. But qualitatively, according to UNICEF, poor quality education is leading to poor learning outcomes in India, ultimately pushing children out of the education system and leaving them vulnerable to the many social issues. So the Right to Education Act insists that many of those children who are in school are not learning the basics of literacy and numeracy or the additional knowledge and skills necessary for their all-round development. See, most of our education system focuses on mostly 90% of education are theoretical, and there is minimum scope for practical learning and research. And there is no space for creative learning and thinking also. And we have poor examination system, and keeping in view all these all aspects decrease the quality in education. And now recently, and even the NEP, again, NEP 2020 has given a lot of recommendations to enhance the quality of education. And by bringing out appropriate reforms in educational system and incorporating the practical relevant activities in the curricular aspects. That is, even now, the introduction of the 4-year degree programs, having the facility of multiple entry and exit options. And here, even in the certificate program or in the diploma program, at the end of the 2nd and the 4th semester, every individual who wish to get the certificate or the diploma program or a degree with the certificate at the end of the 4 year, they need to undergo certain specified period of internships that is compulsory, which is mandatory for the completion of the course. So no student will get out of the institution without undergoing skill-based training. So this is the most needed one, and NEP has given the right recommendation in this aspect. So individuals, earlier it was the condition that students literally acquire the knowledge, but they don't know how to implement the knowledge, where to implement, when to implement. No, they don't know the real application-oriented knowledge. But now everything is learner-centric and holistic, skill-oriented academia with and mostly the important highlight is the academia industry collaboration. So this will actually give an end to the solution of unemployment. Here, now the higher education is encouraging the students towards becoming entrepreneurs. So skill development is the most important one. And though the students may develop the skill of working in their field of interest, getting expertise in their own field, they may not get the jobs now. So they have to become entrepreneurs. They have to earn their own living. And while dealing with these things, though they are getting expertise, they may lack certain life skills. So now the education system also encourages in training life skills among the higher education students. Increase in youth suicide is again a serious social issue. A teen, even a youth, may want to die. They have the thought of dying is the only solution for all the problems. So they may attempt suicide. It is the 3rd leading cause of death in young people between ages 15 to 24. This is a report by CDC. And boys are 4 times more likely to die from suicide than girls. Even we can see the newspapers and other print and electronic media are focusing the rate of suicide. Even after the announcement of results of a competitive examination, or before that, when they are not trying to have the competent, when they are not able to compete with others, they lose their self-confidence. That lack of self-confidence and lack of emotional stability and self-esteem and the lack of soft skills, the lack of appropriate guidance to them. They don't have that tolerance or acceptance, and they may have self-pity on them. And these are all the reasons why the young people want to attempt suicide, to want to end their life. They must be taught the worthy of living first. That is another important objective of the higher education sector, to sensitize the young people to realize the worthy of life, their existence, the essentiality of their existence in this world. So what are the measures that we can take? The main thing is value inculcation. And most of the people here, you are yoga practitioners, and so you can very well train the young minds by touching the hearts. You can teach them and train the young minds by developing the power of concentration and by mindfulness meditation and so many things, so many strategies. You may impart and we teachers may impart the life skills to the students. Of course, our traditional education system focuses on developing the hard skills, that is the technical skills needed to get expertise in their field of interest. But now the soft skill, the other side of soft skill is getting, and that is in the trend now. We need to educate or train the students to acquire the soft skills needed for them. And there are so many soft skills, and government has also taken several initiatives. UGC has given several schemes to promote the soft skills, that is the life skills needed for the young people. Their career-related skills, the life or communicative skills, the employability skills needed for them, and so many. So higher education should attempt to make the students to realize themselves. And another important thing is the cybercrime, the recent social issue. So we are using the digital space for everything because of the hit of COVID pandemic. For the last 2 to 3 years, 2 years, we were using the digital teaching, learning pedagogies, and so. And the use of media, social media also is inevitable nowadays. And because of this unavoidable, and it become, since the digital media has become inevitable, the cybercrime has also taken its place. So as per the Global Risk Report 2021 of the World Economic Forum 2021, cybersecurity failure ranks the 4th most critical threat to the world. As education and learning have already moved to cyberspace due to the pandemic, it has become utmost important to protect the privacy and security of each individual. See, this demands proper education. Otherwise, we may not be in a position to understand what has happened to us. That's the thing. We should be properly educated. When we are using certain technology, we should know how secured it is, how safe and secure that digital app is. Before that, without having proper understanding with that, we just admire with the application, the features of the application, and we get into that. The young people, most of the people nowadays, even the school-going children are most attracted towards the digital apps. They simply get attracted to the features in the apps, and they are using it without knowing the dangers behind the threat. So adoption of digitization takes center stage. It is extremely important to make our networks and cyberspace secure. So it becomes pertinent that capacity building for cybersecurity resilience is given prime importance and is included in the higher education curriculum, irrespective of the stream of learning. The role of education in dealing with social issues. So far I have mentioned some important social issues. As I already mentioned, the time is not enough for covering all the social issues. Even then I can miss something. But here I have selected only few of the emerging, very pertinent social issues needed to be discussed at this forum. So with respect to this, our higher education, I want to just showcase a glimpse on the higher education, how our higher education attempts to address these social issues, the major initiatives taken from our from the higher education side. A glimpse of higher education, and this thing most of us are familiar with this, so I can rush up with this. The vision of higher education is to realize India's human resource potential to its fullest in the higher education sector with equity and inclusion. So this is the very important thing, the vision of higher education with equity and inclusion. When this equity and inclusion is attained, then naturally the denial of opportunities will be no more, and everybody will get the equal access to the education, irrespective of the variation they have. The mission of higher education is to provide greater opportunities of access to higher education with equity to all eligible persons, and in particular to the vulnerable sections also. So give it equity, then expanding the access of education and strengthening the research and innovations, then promote the quality of higher education by improving the infrastructure, the academic reforms, and the objectives of higher education. So gross enrollment ratio in higher education. See this gross enrollment ratio. So people who are eligible to get enrolled in higher education, out of those people, the number of people enrolled actually in higher education, the ratio is actually calculated in terms of gross enrollment ratio. So the first and foremost objective of higher education is to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education. So for this purpose, government has extended, the government of India has extended along with the formal mode of learning, it has extended the open and distance mode of learning and online education system, thereby to making the students at the age group who are eligible to get enrolled in higher education will actually enter into these modes also, if not in the formal mode, then in the ODL or online mode. Thereby they learn, they get enrolled and get the higher education. And to expand the institutional base of higher education, including technical, professional, vocational education, and increasing the capacity and providing opportunities to socially deprived communities and remove the disparities by promoting the inclusion of women, minorities, and differently abled persons. So here reservation is there in all the aspect to promote the education, higher education, to particularly the economically and socially deprived communities. And in setting up of universities or institutions in unserved and underserved areas to overcome that regional imbalances, access to higher education is extended to those people also. And this we have already discussed. Yes, functions of this. This is what based on the objectives, the functions of higher education is the enhancement of gross enrollment ratio by expanding access through all the modes, regular, ODL, and online mode, and promoting the participation of the different sections of the society whose GER is lower than the national average. So when we see that GER, as per the goals, by 2035, we have to attain the GER of 50, the national average of GER of 50. But as far as the Tamil Nadu is concerned, now itself we have crossed 50 gross enrollment ratio. So this is actually, it is intended to promote the participation of the other sections of the society where the GER is very low. So there, on the whole, we have to attain, before 2035, we have to attain the 50 national average. And another important function is to improve the quality and promote academic reforms. Setting up of more educational institutions, that is expansion of the institutions and improvement of the existing institutions are important functions of higher education sector, and use of technology in higher education. So using of technology everywhere, digital technology is promoted, improve development of vocational education and skill development. There are so many initiatives taken from the government side, from the government of India, and UGC has devised so many skill-based schemes, initiatives were taken, thereby students are encouraged to develop their skill sets, to get trained, and even they get the placements in their industry by building that academia and industry collaboration. So for any nation, academia has to do with the economy of the nation, thereby developing the progress, promoting the progress of the nation. So vocational education is sensitized even from the beginning and towards the end. Vocational education is highly emphasized, and skill development also is focused. And whatever may be the skill, based on the interest of the students, the skill initiatives are now widened with the scope of getting a job or becoming entrepreneur. Anyhow, our focus objective is to make the individual a productive individual in the society. So thereby this is the most important function of a higher education system, by promoting the individuals to become productive individuals. So thereby we favor the economy, the economic development within the nation. Thereby we overcome the many social issues that exist in the present day society. And another important function is the development of Indian languages and international collaboration in the field of education. When we see the statistics of higher education, the number of universities, as per the AISHE All India Survey of Higher Education Report 1920, there are nearly 1,043 universities and 42,343 colleges, and we can see the rate of increase of the institute, the universities and colleges over the years. And number of standalone institutions, 11,779, and 3.85 crore number of students are studying in higher education, and 50.03 lakhs of teachers are employed in higher education. And gross enrollment ratio on national average of GER is 27.1. This is the rate as per the 2019-20 survey report. And the gender parity index is 1.01. So this gender parity index shows that with respect to the male and female, at nearly 1. That means for a male, for one female is also getting equal access to the education in higher education. So gender parity is established to some extent. It is nearly 1. So it is appreciable 1. And the pupil teacher ratio employed is 26. And this includes the data upload. Actually, AISHE reports are given based on the data uploaded by the institutions. The collective report gained from the institutions on the survey, and they are reporting on the basis of this. But when we see the pupil teacher ratio, the students enrolled in an institution is uploaded as such, and the teachers, when we see, there may be permanent qualified teachers, and also there may be adjunct faculties, teaching assistants, and in some cases they may also be included as the permanent teacher in a higher education institution. So the ratio may be calculated with respect to those details, and sometimes it may not be the actual same which is existing in the higher education institutions in some cases. And I would like to highlight the ICT initiatives of the Ministry of Education, SWAYAM. SWAYAM Prabha, we know SWAYAM is the study web of active young aspiring minds. So it extends a platform to learn several online courses, and students can earn the credits out of it. The MOOC, Massive Open Online Courses. And Swayam Prabha is a group of 34 DTH channels that telecast the most important educational programs, and it is mainly organized developed by the programs are developed by NPTEL, CEC, UGC, and other similar professional organizations. And the National Digital Library, which is a storehouse of the e-content. And ePG Pathshala is a gateway for e-books up to PG, post-graduation level. And Shodh Ganga, we know, it's a reservoir of Indian thesis, treasure house of the dissertations, the research work. E-Shodh Sindhu, reservoir of e-journals, and so many virtual labs, web-enabled experiments designed for remote operation. So here, nothing is impossible when government has taken these initiatives to promote the education of students at all levels, and that too, the practical aspect has to be encouraged. So even they can enjoy this virtual, working with the virtual labs. Samat, it is e-governance, and Vidwan, expert database, and National Research Network, Shodh plagiarism detection software. And the research initiatives of MOE. And here I would like to focus on the scheme IMPRESS. There are so many schemes introduced by MOE, Ministry of Education, to promote research in the frontiers knowledge. impress impactful policy research in social sciences. Here, through this scheme, many problems, social problems, are invited to take up. The individuals are encouraged to take up research in the critical issues, social issues existing in the society, and attempting to research and bring out with the good innovative research outcomes, which may then recommended for policy making. So government has introduced this, UGC has, the Ministry of Education has formulated these research schemes with particular emphasis to among the academic fraternity to foster the research knowledge among the young individuals and to bring important research outcomes that would be highly beneficial for the progress of the nation, the economic development and the progress of the nation thereby. And the role of higher education in today's economy is creating a quality workforce is very, very important. Higher education gives a person an opportunity to succeed in today's global economy. Modern universities provide their students with various programs aimed at preparing them for different economic sectors, and they help them to stay and progress in the local job market or the labor market for long time. And programs that make difference for the local job market or the labor market outcomes, and they keep pace with the changes in the global economy and the changes in the innovation process also. So the higher education now attempts to create a quality workforce. And our higher education supports the business and industry. I have insisted that the industry academia collaboration is nowadays encouraged, and see, technology is changing the nature of work nowadays. Most of the work activities could be automated using the existing technologies. No, so the requirements on the employee skills have also changed. The higher education institutions assure the relevance of the knowledge they possess, identify the skill gaps actually, and they create special programs and build the right skills that can help countries improve the economic prosperity and the social. Bringing up the social cohesion is very important, and adapt to the labor workforce, the development, and thereby bringing that development to the economy, and even they should support the changing demand for the new skills. We cannot substantiate with the skills what we had already, but we have to accept that the changing demand for the new skills, and we have to develop relevant skills and activate that skill supply, and thus we can bring that improvement in the productivity and enhancement in the growth of the nation. And we should another important thing is the carrying out research and promoting the technologies. Higher education is a technology and innovation driver, we can say. One of the important mission of the universities or any higher education institution is to find solutions for the problems in the society. By conducting research with the priority areas, the frontier areas, and contributing to the social outcomes, such as even in health and social engagement also. The higher education is aimed at designing the technologies. It promotes the technologies which results in the new products, the research outcomes, and supply the advanced technology for use also. And we know that knowledge is the true basis for higher education. Its production is by the research, via the research, and that means the knowledge, the outcome is transmitted via the teachers, and its acquisition and use is by the students. So excellence must remain the prime objective of any institution of higher education, including the universities in any country. Higher education is a determinant of income and one of the most important investments a country should choose to make in its citizens, because it provides workforce with professional, technical, and managerial skills, creating attitudes and changes necessary for socialization, modernization, and the overall transformation of societies. So this is the highly emphasized one. There are many schemes, many recommendations to provide workforce with professional, technical, and managerial skills. But creating the attitude and changes necessary for the socialization is from the part of the institution. The institution, the higher education institution offering the various programs should also indirectly aim at creating the attitudes and changes necessary for the socialization. This should be a part of that. There should not be any clear demarcation between the curricular and the co-curricular, extracurricular activities, and everything should be multidisciplinary. So a person of science domain, expert of science domain should also be interested and should have sufficient awareness and knowledge of the arts and the humanities domain also. And the case vice versa should also be there. So this is what is recommended in NEP, the multidisciplinary and holistic education. So creating that attitude is very, very important to bring the transformation of any society. The role of higher education institutions in today's world is immense, complex, and vital. A wide range of challenges and opportunities is emerging with many political, economic, and social implications. Perhaps most significant are the challenges associated with shifting perspectives of knowledge. So we have discussed that we now aim at the universal, making India as a universal knowledge superpower. This is a knowledge era, and there's shifting perspectives of knowledge which are strongly influencing the role and responsibility of higher education institutions in the society. We want all the individuals, every individual in the society to be productive. Of course, they are unique in nature and they have their own creative potentials. So it is the responsibility of the higher education institutions to draw out that the potentials and to excel, make them excel in their own abilities, and to kindle the spirit of innovation, the creativity, the innovation, and out of that, with a divergent and critical thinking, they will come out with new knowledge from the research work. So they have to undergo several research work, and out of that they will come out with the new outcomes, ideas. And so that will actually help in the economic progress of the nation. Now I shall focus on the NEP 2020. And I hope that this will be a true solution for many social issues actually. NEP also gives several recommendations for this, and increase in GAR in higher education to reach at least 50% by 2035. And as I already mentioned, it's wide open to the individuals across the nation. And in our university, we are offering online programs also, along with the formal and ODL, open and distance learning. Being the assistant director of Directorate of Online Programs, I am proud enough to say that we are enrolling students across the nation, and many students of our the working professionals mainly are getting enrolled to further pursue their higher education in their field of interest, to get expertise in that field, and to do something productive to their own area of interest. NEP, it aims at building the overall personality of the students by strengthening the infrastructure for open and distance learning, online education, and increasing the use of technology in education. Holistic, multidisciplinary education. This is what I have mentioned earlier. The higher education should give a good exposure to the science, arts, humanities, mathematics, and any other field collectively, and so many professional fields. They have very the fields that are having flexible curricular structures, somewhat imaginative and flexible curricular structures, creative combinations of study, and there should be integration of vocational education also. And one peculiar feature here is the multiple entry and exit points, a very attractive one. And so the students who are willing to do a certificate course can get 1 year. When they complete the 1 year, they can get the certificate. At the end of the year, the second semester, they have to undergo an internship for a period of 8 to 10 weeks. After completing that, they will get the certificate course. Even then, if they want to continue the second year, at the end of the second year, they may get the diploma certificate after completing the 4 semesters. And at the end of the fourth semester, they need to complete the again 8 to 10 weeks of the internship. After that, and complete earning the required credits, they will get the diploma. And in the third year, simultaneously, they will get the degree certificate. If they need the research, they have to undergo again a period of at the end of the 4th semester, along with the degree, they will get the degree with the research certificate, and they have to undergo the internship. They have to do research internship, especially at the end of that 8th semester. They have to in the 8th semester itself, they have to do that research internship, and completing that, they will get that degree with the research certificate. So this holistic multidisciplinary education here, earning the credits, academic bank of credits is another important feature where the students who are interested in different fields can get the credits by studying from different institutions, and then they can earn the credits, and they can have store that in the academic bank of credits. And after required number of credits, after collecting getting the acquisition of the required number of credits to earn the degree, the institution will offer the degree and completing the required number of credits. That is another interesting feature of the higher education. So individuals now, they are not forced to study a particular subject without any interest. So based on their own interest, their skill set, what is expected of them, they can learn. Universities and colleges will set up high quality support centers and will be given adequate funds and academic resources to encourage and support students from socio-economically and disadvantaged backgrounds. And so all institutions and faculty will have the autonomy to innovate on matters of curriculum. There will be optimum learning environments will also be provided. Optimum learning environments are created in higher education institutions, and traditional in-class modes along with the online and ODL supports this feature. And HEI, higher education institutions, move to a criterion-based grading system that assesses the students' achievement based on the learning goals for each program, and they move away from the traditional mode of examination towards a more continuous CCE, that is continuous and comprehensive mode of examination. And higher education institutions, professional, academic, and career counseling will be available to all the students, and counselors need to ensure the physical, psychological, and emotional well-being of the students studying at higher education institutions. So every higher education institution should have, and it's insisted that even every department should have a cell, counseling cell, to ensure the well-being of the students in the physical, psychological, and emotional aspects. If not in the department, at least in the institution-wise, there should be a counseling cell, guidance cell for professional, academic, and career counseling. Along with that, personal well-being also. And the National Research Foundation, it's a new entity, will be set up to expand the research and innovation across the country. This National Research Foundation will competitively fund the research in all the disciplines. So successful research will be recognized, and whenever, and with the relevant research will be appreciated and implemented through the linkages with the government agencies as well as with the industry if necessary, and relevant industries, and with the other non-governmental, private or philanthropic organizations also. You can collaborate and conduct the research. The ultimate aim is to get the outcome, which should be very fruitful for the nation. And financial support for the students, again, efforts are made and will also be made to give incentives to appreciate reservations, reserved communities, and socio-economically deprived disadvantaged groups. And the National Scholarship Portal will be expanded to support, foster, and track the progress of students receiving scholarships. And even private institutions also will be encouraged to offer large number of scholarships to their students. And internationalization of education is also encouraged. With international encouraging the international collaborations and student and faculty mobility across the nation, and allowing the establishment of the top world ranked universities to open their campuses in our country to get exposure. This is what we say in GYAN, the government initiative of academic network. There will be a good exposure to the faculty and the students also to interact with the faculty members across the nation to share their ideas and views with relevant to their own subject of interest. And technology in education, it is actually a national educational technology forum will be created to provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, and administration. Since most of the 2K kids will be very, what we can say, the proactive in adapting to the technological skills, whereas the teaching fraternity or the people, professionals, working professionals now may have some hindrances in adapting to the technology. They may have some hesitation. So to overcome that, a national technology forum, educational technology forum will be created to get clarified with to share their ideas regarding the utilization of the technological, to use the technology to get expertise in the technological skills. And holistic educational program. This is what the ultimate message I want to convey to this session. Out of all the social issues what we have discussed, the holistic educational program will be the solution for overcoming the major social issues, and how we can establish or construct or deliver the holistic educational program is should have connection to the world. The education should be multidisciplinary. Already I have mentioned that the ultimate aim or objective of the higher education is to create individuals who are physically strong, of course. So physical development is also needed, physically strong and intellectually sound, intellectually able person or mentally sound person. By imparting an enormous amount of knowledge, we can develop that. Along with that, we should create emotionally stable person and spiritually grounded personalities. So we should stay connected with the world. We should develop the global competencies among the children, among the students. So the curriculum should be broad-based in the sense it incorporates it should be interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, you can say. Even the science domain should incorporate the arts, humanities, mathematics, other professional fields also, so that they get expertise in all the fields, they get knowledge in all the fields. They should be able to collaborate with all the domains, and individualized education program should be encouraged. So now the entire program is learner-centric and skill-oriented. The learner, whatever may be the field of interest, the skill set, with their skill set, they excel in their learning. So the pedagogies are also reformed in such a way that problem-based learning and skill-based learning and practical or more practical-oriented activities and research-oriented, innovative pedagogies are introduced now. So individualized program should be there, and hands-on studies should be given to the students. So hands-on in the sense, again, giving much importance to the practical-oriented activities to the students. So internships, or irrespective of the programs, for every program, they should need to get trained in the required skill set. When they come out of that, when they get the graduation, when they come out of the educational institution, they should have that confidence to work in the field. with the theoretical and the practical experience that they have gained from the institution, from the program. Not the institution, you can say it's the program. And there is one saying, the higher educational institution, instead of using the term organization, we should use the term institution. It gives the more impactful meaning of influencing the thought level of the persons involved in. That's why we call higher education institution more than an organization. So this institution, when any individual who completes a program through an institution, should come out with the confidence of both theoretical as well as practical aspect in the particular skill set they are expected to get trained. And finally, with the social emotional learning. This is what the most needed one. Of course, we can train the students with the theoretical and practical knowledge and the research procedure and the research knowledge. But the social emotional learning is acquired by the experience they have in the institutional setup. So whatever it may be digital learning environment or the physical offline face-to-face environment, whatever it may be, the network should ensure, the interaction should ensure that social emotional learning environment should be there. And only through this, many of the social issues attempted by the individuals, many social issues that are happening because of the abnormal or different behaviors of the individuals could be avoided. So social emotional learning, and how can we ensure that social emotional learning? And these are some of the important dimensions of that social emotional learning. That is self-awareness, social awareness. Social awareness. So as a part of individual in an institution, it is the responsibility of the higher education institutions to impart the social awareness. They should show, understand, and have empathy for others. This is encouraged by involving the students in the community engagement activities, community-oriented activities. So we should indulge in those, make the students involved in those activities. That way they develop that social awareness. And often we used to have that social gathering. So by discussion, by group discussion and having the social gathering, the students used to get that social awareness and discussing on the key points or the key aspects of the nation's development, even about the GDP, gross domestic product. When they discuss about that, they know they should understand the social, they have that social responsibility, they gain that social responsibility to contribute something for the welfare of the nation. And another thing is the relationship skills. Interpersonal relationship skills. This is the main reason why many of the students fail to compete in to get a job in a well-reputed concern because of the lack of the interpersonal skills. They fail to work in teams, to how to deal effectively in conflict, with the conflict. So this is the thing they have that we need to train in the our institution, the relationship skills to build, how to build the positive relationship with others, and responsible decision making. Decision making is another important skill that need to be trained. Making ethical, constructive choices about personal and social behavior is very, very important actually. Decision making, and here the student individual need to develop the positive attitude to take correct decision at the right time, at the right decision at the right time. So this is also an important skill to be developed. And self-management. Individual should be trained or made to realize themselves. Self-realization should be the goal. And here the activity should be created in such a way, the learning environment should be in such a way that they should help the individual, the student, to realize themselves. Self-management, managing the emotions and behaviors to achieve one's goals. So with that confidence, with that interpersonal skill, with the good social awareness, and with the self-awareness, the good self-awareness. Self-awareness means being aware of one's own self, the self-realization, recognizing one's emotions and values, as well as one's strengths and challenges. Nowadays, we used to encourage our students to perform a SWOT analysis. Now we have changed that trend as, instead of threat, we used to say challenges, SOC analysis. We asked the students to do analyze their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities and challenges before them. So in this present societal context, this is very, very essential, making the students to be aware of themselves, to understand their own strengths. We must motivate the students to increase their own strengths and weaken their weaknesses, and to have that confidence, get exposed to their opportunities and to win the challenges they are focusing on. So these are the most important dimensions of social emotional learning. It goes on. It is actually, we can say that it is included in the hidden curriculum. It is not directly exposed in the curriculum, but it is a hidden curriculum where we can devise so many activities that is social oriented, society oriented, community relevant activities to build these skills, which are most essential for a learner to overcome, to compete in this world, to attain to become a good citizen, a responsible social citizen of any country. So at the end, I shall say that education will not cure all the problems of society, but without it, no cure for any problem is possible. This is a statement by Lyndon B. Johnson, but I am supporting his view that education will not cure all the problems of the society, but without it, no cure for any problem is possible. And let me end my session with the quote by Mahatma Gandhi again: be the change you want to see in the world. So I request all the teaching fraternity and the participants here to be the initiator of the change that what we want to see in this world.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat box.
Yes.
As the next speaker is online, so we will send forward all your questions to ma'am through mail. Is it okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay. So great creators don't necessarily have the deepest expertise, but rather seek out the broadest perspectives. Ma'am has greatly pointed out the social issues such as unemployment, gender disparity, poverty, population explosion, illiteracy, etc. in getting into the education. She has pointed to address these issues through Government of India, academic collaboration, life skill approaches in higher education, interpersonal skills, and digitization for better sustainability of well-being. Thank you, ma'am, for empowering insights to deal with social issues in the education system. Thank you.
I thank the organizing committee for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. And finally, I want to congratulate one participant, Sridevi, and she has given the answer that by extending a triangle out of box, we can solve that puzzle what I have mentioned in the beginning. Thank you. Thank you all. Shall I leave now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I hand over the session to Nalini.
Thank you, Pallavi. So now, the address by Yogacharya Facundo Legunda, who is the director of Argentina School of Yoga Teacher Training, Argentina. Before inviting him, I would like to give small introduction about him. He is the president of Civil Yoga Association of Tierra del Fuego, Antarctica and South Atlantic Islands. And he is more specialist in yoga and wellness. He is the president of South America Yoga Alliance, Yoga Teacher Citizen Management, Municipality of Rio Grande from 2017 to 2022. Also, he is the director of Argentina School of Yoga Teacher Training, and he is the director of Tierra del Fuego Yoga Center, and he is the yoga teacher for Youth House Seniors, Municipal CCG LNLM Cultural Center of Argentina, and he is the secretary of sports in Yoga Teacher Adrono in 2017. He is also running the dance studio, and he got so many dance related awards in Argentina Yoga Dance Championship 2020. If you see his university studies, he has completed his psychology in University of Palermo and University of Moran, and he also completed his sociology in University of Tierra del Fuego, and he is more comfortable with many languages like Chinese, Spanish, and so many things. And he has won so many awards like Yogacharya, Grandmaster of Yoga, Yoga Shri, Yoga Chariot, and Yoga Chakravarti, and so many awards he has won. And with this introduction, I welcome you, sir, and over the session to you. So, bienvenue, Senna, durante la session start.
Hariom Namaskarji, Namaste. Thank you for this opportunity. Greetings to the organization. Thank you. Greetings, Radhakrishnan. Respected Radhakrishnan to ASEAN International Yoga Federation. I am Facundo Legunda. I am from Argentina. I speak today to Yoga for Human Resource Management. My English is so-so. I speak to Spanish slow. Greetings to the organization. Greetings to my master, Dharmachari Maitrayananda and Mataji Lakshmidevi. The yoga is a universal vision. Today, the yoga have a technique for all. Podemos decir que hoy en día la manera que tenemos para ver el yoga no es algo diferente en India, como en Argentina, en Chile, en Brasil, en Norteamérica. La gestión de recursos humanos en el yoga o en el yoga nos permite a nosotros tener una visión profesional del trabajo que nos permite insertarnos no solamente.
Sorry for the interruption. So we can, yes, sir. Line by line, if possible, we try to interrupt, sir. Yes, sir. So now the yoga is, I just want to tell in English, sir, with your permission. So now the yoga is very common, not only in India, it is common across all countries like Brazil, Argentina, and so many countries. And yes, sir, please proceed, sir.
Yes. 1 minute. Hoy en día, el yoga tiene diferentes técnicas que nos permiten insertarnos en un plano laboral. Ese plano laboral nos permite trabajar en diferentes ciudades, no solo en Asia, no solo en Oriente, sino también en Occidente. En Argentina, hoy en día, el yoga es muy popular y eso se debe también al efecto que tuvo la pandemia y cómo el yoga se adapta hoy en día a las nuevas tecnologías que nos permiten tener un mejor trabajo o conexión, y esa conexión nos permite hoy hablar no solo en inglés, sino también en español.
So the yoga is very much common, not only in the particular place, it is more common across gymnastics. In every place we can see that it is more common, and especially in the work environment, it is more needed. The yoga is, especially we are today talking about the resource management. So in that yoga is very important for it is very important to manage the human resource management, especially the people who used to face the stress and so many factors they have. Yes.
Las técnicas de yoga que se utilizan en los recursos humanos hoy nos permiten insertarnos en diferentes planos laborales, no solo desde el culto, desde la creencia, sino también desde la educación y desde el deporte. Hoy en día el deporte nos permite conectarnos no solo desde un deporte, sino también desde lo popular, que nos permite tener un contacto global desde cualquier país a otro en poco tiempo, y esto nos permite a nosotros utilizar las técnicas no solo para los empleados que comienzan a trabajar del yoga, sino que empieza a ser remunerado no solo como un trabajo personal, sino que un trabajo para los demás.
So occupational stress is the widespread phenomenon and it is the contributory factor of absenteeism, the physical and psychological illness, and it creates the lower productivity across the employees. So the Families and Work Institute revealed high levels of stress at the workplace. Nearly a subsequent 2000 Integra survey also supported around so many workers as under stress and more difficulty and focus on their work. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I drink to a mate. Thank you. Hay muchas herramientas que tenemos para insertarnos en el plano laboral, en el yoga, pero lo más importante siempre va a ser la creación de instituciones que nos permitan poder transmitir las técnicas del yoga, no solamente mentales, físicas o espirituales, que no van a traer un beneficio solo a los directores o personas que contratan nuestros servicios, pero hoy en día esto nos permite a nosotros contratar personal de yoga con técnicas de yoga como profesionales mediante instituciones que son asociaciones pertenecientes a federaciones o instituciones educativas como la que está dando la clase este día.
So the state of stress is not fixed. It remains the continuous state of flux in which the cognitive, it is not only the productivity of the person, it affects the cognitive, behavior and physiological processes interact. However, it is possible to aggregate information and come to a conclusion about the state of stress. The business is always concerned about the labor's productivity. The productivity is adversely affected by stress, which can originate from the work itself or from external factors like financial problems. The management of stress is one of the priorities in human resource management levels of control over the job, entail decision-making authority, support from supervisors and colleagues, and confidence to get the designated job done. Thank you, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Comenzar una institución en yoga, gracias a la evolución que ha pasado desde los ashrams privados a los lugares públicos, donde antes un maestro transmitía las técnicas y esas técnicas de un maestro a un discípulo tenían que hacer, por ejemplo, a mucha distancia o separándose de lo que es la comunidad para vivir solamente aprendiendo las técnicas, hoy nos permite transmitirla día a día mediante nuestra práctica personal, insertarla en los planos laborales, no solamente desde el yoga, sino desde el día a día, gracias a que el yoga es una actitud ante la vida.
So, yoga is the ancient science and it is the perspective on physical and mental well-being. So it is being increasingly recognized as an applied science all over the world. In yoga, the body is looked upon an instrument which enables the individual to evolve and to live and work fruitfully. A correct practice of yoga is believed to fructify in health and wholeness through the discovery of the yoked reality of the experience of the individual of body and mind. So the yoga which brings the body and mind together into our harmonious experience. The yogic techniques are very important. So we'll see that now. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hoy en día no podemos hablar de yoga profesional sin instituciones que enseñen yoga profesional. Y ese recurso o esa gestión es importante que la tengan presidentes que se conecten o se contacten con el gobierno donde está situado esa institución, que se conecte con el estado o provincia que esté dentro de esa institución y que esa institución trabaje para la comunidad y que no sea solamente un negocio personal.
So according to the classical texts, yoga seeks to remove 9 obstacles which are familiar to the people of all places and in all eras. That is illness, mental stagnation, doubt, lack of foresight, fatigue, overindulgence, illusions about one's true state of mind, lack of perseverance, and regression. So with the spread of knowledge of the beneficial effects of yoga, it gained wider acceptance and also has gained respect as a valuable tool for helping in the management of stress and improving health and general well-being of resource management department. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, respected G. En Argentina, el yoga está dividido en 3 instituciones importantes que permiten que se transmitan las técnicas acuñadas de maestro a discípulo, y estas técnicas son en 3 instituciones, en Argentina por lo menos, que es educación, deportes y culto. Se dividen las instituciones, pero las técnicas siguen siendo genuinas. Esto nos permite saber que introducirnos en el conocimiento institucional nos permite gestionar estos recursos humanos para permitir que nuestros alumnos tengan una mejor calidad de experiencia de las técnicas, y estas técnicas no solo sean físicas, mentales y espirituales, sino que den una mejor calidad de vida, y esta calidad de vida, un mejor trabajo.
So yoga is probably the most effective way to deal with various disabilities along the same time-honored lines of treatment that contemporary medicine has just rediscovered and tested. The yogic body postures are probably the best tools to disrupt any learned patterns of wrong muscular efforts. The controlled breathing and withdrawal of mind from the domination of sensors are extremely efficient techniques to divert the attention of individual from the objects of outer environment, to increase everyone's energy potential and interiorize them to achieve control of one's inner functioning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, respect. En Europa, las técnicas fueron transmitidas en un momento en el garage o en un espacio de una casa, de un hogar. Hoy en día hay instituciones, facultades como la que estamos, o facultad de conocimiento como la que estamos hoy en día, y que nos permiten entender que el yoga ha evolucionado a tal fin que podemos hacer yoga en hindi, en India, en Pali, en Spanish, and in English. Speak to yoga o hablar de yoga es muy importante, pero desde la acción. La acción es a través de este conocimiento y a través de dar conciencia de las técnicas importantes que tiene el yoga para una mejor calidad de vida desde la importancia institucional. Porque si el yoga está hoy en Argentina, es gracias a las instituciones educativas, deportivas y de culto, sin dejar lo popular de lado, lo que lleva a que hoy en día se conozca más y se interese más la gente en yoga, no solo como una actitud ante la vida, sino también como un negocio. Y ese negocio permite que muchas familias hoy en día sobrevivan a las situaciones mundiales, como por ejemplo la guerra hoy en día, puede ser mejor llevada gracias al yoga.
So whether it is Spanish or English, the yoga is the one which ultimately makes us to experience the union of ourselves with our mind and body, soul. So the aim of the practice of body posture is to reduce here. It's not only deal with the mind, it is working on our postures, our mind level, our total well-being, our productivity, the employee's productivity, the mind relaxation. So the aim of the practice of body posture is to reduce the activity and interior in the mind and reinforce the clarity. So the yoga which makes our mind very calm, clarity, steadiness and alertness. Yes, sir?
Thank you. Sorry, my translator is sleeping. Thank you to this translator. Hoy, el trabajo y vivir de yoga es posible gracias a las herramientas y saber que el yoga no es flexibilidad, no es fuerza, no es equilibrio, sino que es un estado de integración con lo social, con lo ecológico, donde nuestro hogar puede ser mejor, pero el trabajo puede ser mejor. Por eso es muy importante insertar las técnicas de yoga en trabajos comunes que nos permitan hacer que el yoga vaya evolucionando y creciendo.
So The yoga is not only the knowledge, it is totally it improves the total well-being and one's mental calmness, and there is the natural link between the breath and movement. It is very simple. On exhalation, the body is contracted. On the inhalation, it is expanded. There are, however, some exceptions. There are two ways of practicing a body posture. It might be the dynamic practice, which may be needed in the human resource department since they are sitting for the long period or because of their postural issues. And out again in rhythm with the breath. Whereas in static practice, the posture is held for a certain number of breath cycles. The process involves moving into and out of the position with controlled breathing. So the workplace, as also many sporting activities, contributes to structural imbalance in the body. The body postures are useful in correcting structural imbalance by using movements to work on each side of the body separately. So with appropriate breathing and appropriate movement, these postures can be used to maintain the strength and flexibility of the spine, which is very essential in human resource department because they are more stressed and they are not worrying about their postures, everything. Yes, sir?
Thank you. En el pasado, para hacer una clase de yoga, uno tenía que viajar a un lugar donde haya un maestro. Hoy en día hay doctores que se dedican al estudio y a la ciencia del yoga. Hoy en día existen empresas que trabajan con marcas que tienen un nombre para seguir difundiendo el yoga. Podemos decir hoy que el yoga es una fuente de trabajo y por ende gestiona los recursos humanos. Y estos recursos humanos permiten que el yoga siga siendo un arte, una ciencia y filosofía de vida que permita un bienestar. No estamos hoy en los tiempos de Patanjali, pero sí hay mucho que agradecer a toda esta evolución del yoga, donde la búsqueda del samadhi a veces está dejada de lado, pero hoy en día se busca el bienestar o el wellness.
So the birthing is the normal process of life, yet because of incorrect breathing practice, sufficient blood does not reach the lungs or brains or other tissues. So under the state of stress, many people further restrict their breathing, thereby increasing fatigue, muscular tension, irritability, and anxiety. Stressed and tense individuals are often recommended to change the way they breathe, as shallow breathing leads to anxious state. The yogic technique of controlled breathing, especially akara, ukara, makara, so in chanting, which help to found to be an effective tool in the management of stress, who is working the resource management as the initial step of breathing techniques. Yes, sir?
Thank you. La globalización o el Internet nos permite ver hoy en día, en un segundo, miles de técnicas de yoga, pero no nos enseñan qué es el yoga. Nos dan información con respecto al yoga, pero no nos está permitiendo vivir qué es el yoga. Para que el yoga nos permita a nosotros trabajar del yoga, hay que trabajar para el yoga. Esto es importante, ya que dirigir instituciones de yoga nos permiten seguir sembrando yoga. Y esto es una manera de gestionar estos recursos que los humanos tenemos que hacer para convivir mejor no solo con lo ecológico, con lo social, sino tener un conocimiento filosófico sin imponer creencias, sino que adaptándose día a día a las nuevas tecnologías y a los nuevos conocimientos y evoluciones que el yoga va a tener y va a seguir teniendo, incluso después de que nosotros no estemos.
So if we take the yogic breathing technique, the various institutes are offering the different way of approach, but still we have to choose based on the end user, and also the breathing technique especially, which is very important to overcome the stress and to improve the productivity of the employees. So it is the breathing technique should be the conscious, and it should be deliberate regulation of breath, replacing the unconscious patterns of breathing. So it involves the regulations of inhalation, exhalation, and the suspension of the breath. The suspension can be, according to the person, it might be varied. It should not be according to the text or something. We should hold for certain limits or something. So the regulation of these three components is achieved by modulating their length and maintaining their modulation for a period of time, even during their work hours, to make their mind very calmful. So our life has, ultimately we have to live very happily, where the breath itself directly involved with our prana. Yes, sir?
Thank you. Todos los que estamos hoy en esta clase, estamos en contacto gracias al Día Internacional del Yoga que se está festejando. Yo estoy agradecido por esta invitación, ya que en la provincia que vivo, que es muy lejana a la capital de Argentina, el contacto que tenemos con ustedes nos permite saber que el trabajo de yoga pasa fronteras, pasa límites. Esos límites hoy en día ya no existen. Podemos hablar no solamente de yoga, sino de fútbol, por ejemplo. Y eso está hoy en día en conexión a que el yoga puede ser usado en varias partes, en varios lugares. Esos lugares, por ejemplo, en el deporte, nos permiten trabajar con bailarines de danza, nos permiten trabajar con deportistas olímpicos, nadadores, futbolistas, basquetbolistas, boxeadores. Entonces, el recurso humano que tiene el yoga es infinito e ilimitado, ya que el límite lo pone el profesional, que va a ser competente o incompetente dependiendo de la institución que lo guíe.
The techniques, what he has told, the breath, which needs to be controlled, and it should be very efficient physiologically to our system. It controls the autonomic nervous system. Also, in order to understand the science of controlled breathing, it is necessary to consider the nature and function of nervous system, which coordinates the functions of all other systems in the body. So it is again this, if you see that nervous system, it is divided into two types, central and autonomic nervous system, where yoga balances both the system. It might be either sympathetic or parasympathetic in the autonomic nervous system. Also, these two systems has to work in harmonious regulation. Even the traditional, our complementary meditations or everything, it brings balances our systems. And Sir used to go to work with so many swimmers, athletes, and so many events with other people in India. So the yoga which helps him to interact with the Indian people and helps to understand their psychology and everything. So we used to go with according to our culture and everything. Yes, sir.
Thank you. La cultura en yoga nos permite saber que no hay apropiación cultural de yoga. Como presidente de la Alianza Americana de Yoga, nos conectamos de la misma manera con la Federación o asociaciones de Asia, Norteamérica, Australia, España, como de la misma manera que se conecta un centro de yoga, una escuela de yoga de Argentina, con una escuela en Portugal. Esto nos permite saber que si uno quiere vivir mejor, tener un trabajo y un progreso, ayudar a la familia, progresar personalmente, contribuir a la comunidad, dar conciencia de que el yoga genera bienestar no solo desde las técnicas antiguas del yoga, sino desde la yoga terapia, del yoga terapéutico, del yoga wellness, del yoga deportivo, de todos los métodos existentes del yoga. Saber que si el practicante se siente bien, está haciendo yoga. Y eso es la fuente de trabajo donde ustedes también pueden dar un mejor trabajo o calidad de vida a sus practicantes, alumnos, o en el trabajo donde se desempeñen. En esta ciudad, que es una ciudad industrial, en D-City, esta ciudad trabaja generando mano de obra de fábrica, de tecnología, donde el trabajo repetitivo genera malestar. Y gracias a las técnicas de yoga, desde la Dirección de Recursos Humanos de la fábrica, nos permite insertarnos laboralmente, dando técnicas de yoga a esa gente que está trabajando todo el día de manera mecánica, que el yoga nos hace tener conciencia de no ser mecánico en lo que hacemos.
So, yoga is the cessation of whirling thoughts in the mind. We all are united with the yoga, even Argentina, or it might be from Atlanta or whatever countries, we all are united or integrated with the yoga. And in especially in the yoga will helps in resource management department to calm the mind and make them to efficiently focus on their work. So always a disturbed mind lowers, not only affects their mental calmness, it lowers the immunity of the body and makes it vulnerable to diseases. So every psychophysiological disturbance, every negative emotion, it apart from causing distress, it also interferes the rhythm of our physical body functionalities. So this disturbance not only affects the skeletal musculature, but the body as a whole, thereby changing the entire postal separation of the person. So this yoga is not only for the human resource department, we can apply it in the sports, even in the military services and so many services, industrial areas, and we can do and we can take our own tactic according to the places and according to the people. This will vary. Yes, sir.
Thank you, respected.
So thank you so much. Yes.
Podemos ver o podemos escuchar, inclusive el yoga nos permite trabajar desde la traducción de las técnicas de yoga y que esto a su vez nos permite incluso insertarlo en el plano del lenguaje. Hoy en día el sánscrito, una lengua donde se traduce o se codifican las técnicas de yoga, hoy ha sido traducida en inglés, ha sido traducida en español, en portugués, en chino, en diferentes idiomas, donde todos, a través de la técnica, podemos saber a qué beneficio queremos llegar.
So the yogic techniques are vary according to the institution or something, but in India, the Sanskrit is the language which helps to, which is translated all the yogic techniques, even in the classical texts also. The Sanskrit is the language which is used. Yes, sir.
Thank you to Radhakrishnan ji. For example, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I meeting to Radhakrishnan ji to a Congress of Yoga in Buenos Aires and speak to yoga. I see a classroom to yoga to Radhakrishnan ji, and today I greeting to Radhakrishnan ji in the other side. Esto es gracias a que el yoga pasa fronteras. Hoy por hoy no hay límites en la enseñanza del yoga. Ese límite a veces se impone desde las instituciones, pero va a seguir rompiéndose gracias a las técnicas solamente. Lo importante siempre va a ser la técnica, y esa técnica, cómo se transmita desde el aprendizaje. Como dijo anteriormente la respetada Madame Rajeswar-ji, hablando de las problemáticas que tiene hoy en día el país donde vive y cómo el yoga trabaja para salvar esos estados, cómo gestionar estos grupos, estas instituciones, es lo importante para que nosotros vemos el bienestar social y ese bienestar social sea también un bienestar en comunidad.
So yoga can be spread along the society for the well-being of the society in the community through higher education institutions. Moving on, sir.
Yes.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes.
So yoga can be spreaded through the society, through higher educations and institutions for the well-being of the community. And it can again spread through social services also.
Yes.
Carry on, sir.
Hoy los servicios que ofrece el trabajo progresivo que tienen las instituciones de yoga pueden ser privadas, estatales o gubernamentales. En cada país se maneja mediante la Constitución o las leyes que rigen esa ciudad o ese país. Separando esos estados, podemos insertarnos laboralmente. Por ejemplo, no es lo mismo trabajar de manera privada en mi casa o en un espacio, un gimnasio, que trabajar para el Estado o trabajar para el gobierno del yoga. Los que están organizando esta clase lo saben bien también. los permisos o leyes son diferentes en cada país y el yoga se adapta a esas leyes. Entonces, de la manera que nosotros hablemos o nos contactemos primero con los alumnos o con los pacientes si somos doctores, vamos a saber que vamos a tener desde el yoga todas las posibilidades y herramientas para poder dar un objetivo que sea positivo, que nos permita a nosotros generar una mejor calidad de vida y que siga siendo el yoga bien visto por el Estado, la comunidad de ese Estado, el gobierno, los gobernantes, y nos pidan que sigamos trabajando para ellos. Hoy el día, decir yoga es un sinónimo de bienestar. Y hay que seguir y que se mantenga esta palabra.
So whether you are working in home or office, or you're working in the government or in the private, whatever it is, you start doing the yoga. So for doing the yoga, it's not, we don't have any restrictions or anything. So you have to take your own body as a consideration, mind as the consideration, and start doing yoga as the regular practice, so that it will make you and it will help you to balance and integrate yourself with calm mindness. Yes, sir.
Thank you, respected teacher. Para trabajar, la comunidad del yoga tiene que estar unida, por más que haya diferencias sociales, diferencias de creencias, diferencias de pensamientos, diferencias de sentimientos. La comunidad del yoga tiene que estar unida, por más que esté separada, porque esto permite que haya diferentes técnicas que vayan evolucionando y esas técnicas den más trabajo aún. Por ejemplo, no es lo mismo el yoga hace 1000 años que como lo es hace 10 años. Hace 10 años el yoga sigue siendo una herramienta que traspasa fronteras, y esas fronteras hoy son occidentales, uniéndose desde la base oriental, y esa base sigue nutriéndose entre sí, ya que desde el occidente hay técnicas que también se exportan al oriente, y ese oriente genera también mejor evolución, ya que domina hace más años las técnicas, y esas técnicas nos permiten entender que hoy en día trabajar de yoga es posible, y que hacer que mucha cantidad de gente esté trabajando para nosotros desde el yoga también es posible.
So whether it might be the state differences or belief differences, or it might be the country differences across the people, the yoga is the one which unite ourselves by having the single thought. It's beyond our religions and whatever it is, and also
Yoga is a tool to connect the different religions, though it is spreading in the Western. Look at the yoga which was before 10 years and now how it is evolving, and it is uniting all the nations together. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, respected teacher. El yoga tiene técnicas que se adaptan a la música, a la pintura o al arte, a la danza, a la ciencia. Se adapta también el yoga a todos los aspectos que tiene el ser humano, y ese aspecto más importante es la posibilidad de prevenir los problemas que generan los días laborales, como el estrés, la mala postura, el suicidio, la angustia, la depresión, son factores que el día a día tienen en una ciudad, en un país, los cambios sociales o los cambios climáticos. Desde el yoga permiten también generar diferentes espacios que con técnicas de yoga se puede ayudar a un montón de gente, un montón de personas, alumnos, pacientes, etc.
So nowadays you can see that there are a lot of techniques in yoga. Worldwide, there are different yoga techniques are used. You can use the whichever technique suits you as your tool. It can be a drawing, it can be a painting, but use yoga. In that, you incorporate yoga as your tool.
You can export the, so you can export the tools from the Western, or you can use the Indians, whatever the tool, it doesn't have the limitations, but choose your own way and use it across the people who really needs. Especially it might be in the resource management department or whatever department. So the tool or finding your own unique way is very important to excel in the yoga as a student.
Yes, yoga can meet the world. Esta manera nos hace trabajar como seres humanos, y eso es hablar de recursos humanos o la gestión de recursos humanos en yoga, donde empezamos siendo humanos desde nosotros mismos hacia los demás. El yoga nos hace conocer a nosotros mismos, nos hace conocer a los demás, nos hace tener un contacto mejor con la realidad de los sucesos, y nos hace no ser una persona que impone su verdad ante la realidad, y esa realidad es algo que nos permite a nosotros tener el contacto tecnológico, social, y la información que proviene siempre de las fuentes, que son fuentes de técnicas. Una persona que aprende técnicas de yoga, sea una, dos, tres o cuatro técnicas, ya empieza a notar un cambio, desde lo primordial que es respirar. Cuando uno respira, genera cambios, y esos cambios son muy importantes para el organismo del ser humano. Hoy en día, las empresas, los hoteles, los lugares de turistas, los lugares de turismo, las montañas, las playas, tienen yoga. Si yo quiero trabajar y vivir del yoga, me puedo dedicar a trabajar y vivir del yoga solo mediante la actitud que yo imponga y del aprendizaje anterior constante, ya que el yoga se aprende toda la vida. No es algo que tengo un papel que dice que soy maestro de yoga y soy maestro de yoga. No, es un día a día donde, por ejemplo, hoy siendo las 4 de la mañana en Argentina, estoy hablando de yoga con ustedes, y eso es algo que me permite a mí seguir difundiendo el yoga.
Yoga is a tool which is not only helping us to learn for today, just for today. It is the lifelong process. It is the art and science of learning, and it will be continuously spreading on, which helps to unite the people in the world And again, it will make you know what is your reality, who are you. This is what the yoga helps you.
So it helps in the self-analysis and it helps in the self-analysis of the individual and it helps in the self-analysis of the individual to progress toward the inward journey. And I have started journey in spreading the yoga. I hope you all started too. And it is very important to give the knowledge or insist the yoga to each and everyone who is not unaware of it. Yes, sir.
Thank you, respected G. Vamos a hablar de instituciones de yoga. El yoga nace por instituciones, donde un maestro tenía una comunidad de discípulos. Estos discípulos seguían a un maestro y crea una comunidad. Esta comunidad permite que se difundan diferentes técnicas. Esas técnicas han creado bienestar, han generado libertad a diferentes comunidades y no ha permitido que se vayan muriendo esas técnicas, sino que esas comunidades, al separarse, generan otras comunidades y esas comunidades a su vez generan otras comunidades hasta que hoy en día una persona termina siendo una comunidad mediante, por ejemplo, un perfil de Facebook donde genera un negocio y ese negocio llega a miles de personas. Por ejemplo, hoy somos más de 300 personas hablando de yoga. Podemos decir que estamos en comunidad. Y esto es parte del recurso humano para darle el beneficio al yoga.
It helps me to continuously spread the yoga in different communities, which allows the different techniques, gives the freedom to live through different social media platform like Facebook, different social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebooks. We can spread the yoga, and it is also continuously spreading in the whole Western countries.
Also, it is also please don't stay with the same place. Go and learn the yoga wherever it is. Go without ego and learn so many things, and you can spread. Travel wherever possible and we live for yoga. Spread the yoga for everyone. Yes, sir.
Thank you, respected G. Ahora, ya hicimos una hora de charla sobre recurso humano, así que si tienen alguna pregunta, any question, write to the chat and vamos a contestar.
So now the question is, so now it is question session open for the participants. If you have any questions, you can ask your questions in the chat box.
Participants, you can ask your questions. Sir can understand English. You can ask your questions in English.
Okay. I drink mate to wait your question. It's delicious.
Sir, we are very eager to know how in Argentina, how the yoga is spreads and how there is any yoga institutions or how it was, how the importance is given in the Argentina.
En Argentina, las instituciones de yoga están regidas de la manera más laica o de la manera que no está en contacto directamente con la religión, que es la institución deportiva. Y esa institución importante en Argentina es la Federación Argentina de Yoga, que agrupa a todas las instituciones argentinas, asociaciones argentinas, ya que esa institución es la que nos permite a nosotros conectarnos con el deporte y con el Comité Olímpico, que nos permite hacer yoga siendo de cualquier creencia, siendo católico, cristiano, musulmán, hindú. Todos podemos realizar yoga gracias al deporte y todos podemos realizar yoga sin tener que dedicarnos de lleno a una institución privada que nos dé un certificado que diga que sabemos yoga, cuando el yoga es como el deporte que día a día se va aprendiendo, ¿no?
So we can unite the yoga through sports. Also in Argentina, the more sports games are there, through which we can collect the yoga. We can connect the yoga, and also we can build the yoga culture through, though it is in the Hindu system, but we can connect it in the Argentina also. We can apply it sports institutions and different institutions.
Creo que hay una pregunta que dice si es posible hacer que el yoga sea olímpico. La respuesta es que si todas las asociaciones mundiales, federaciones mundiales, trabajan en conjunto, es posible. De hecho, por ejemplo, el baile, el tango, el breakdance, hoy en día es un deporte olímpico. Veía que Radha Krishna hablaba sobre la pandemia y cómo ayudamos mediante la tecnología en pandemia, y no solamente en pandemia, sino en desastres naturales como lo que han tenido hace unos meses en esas áreas, a través de lo que son los campeonatos deportivos de yoga deportivo.
The question is whether the sir is conducting certificate courses or not. Yes, they are conducting certificate courses in Argentina also. And about the pandemic, how it has gone through during the pandemic, how we use the technology to connect the yoga and to the people to bring the human resource development into our life, even during the COVID pandemic time also. So it was, though the natural disasters, but we have connected through the technology, and we have conducted many more yoga classes, yoga sessions through the online platform.
Okay, and he's asking that
the drink is
yes, sir.
It's very important, very important.
So, as Sir mentioned, there is a lot of job opportunities, especially in the sports and other fields. The Argentina is involving the yoga. And thank you, sir. And kindly post your questions on the chat box, participants.
Yes, the drink is called mate. Mate is traditional drink of Argentina. It's you going to Argentina, and the first drink it's mate. Thank you a lot.
Sir, one question, sir. I am following Sky Yoga, Simplified Kundalini Yoga. Is it good, sir? Is this different yoga, sir?
Thank you to all. Bueno, espero que les haya sido buena la clase de hoy. Es muy importante para mí poder hablar de ustedes, con respecto al yoga. La mayoría somos profesionales y ustedes también son profesionales. Y nada, Hari Om, Namaskarji, Namaste. Thank you greeting to Rana Sabaparaji, to the doctor and the director for the Faculty of Yoga Therapy Science. And I'm going to sleep because in Argentina is too later. Here is 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, actually we are very blessed, and we got so many informations, not only in yoga. You were talking about cultural differences and traditional systems, even the classical text you have quoted, and also you just compared with the human systems, and so many things we have came, sir. Also morning 3 o'clock, it's really very in your busy schedule, and it's in your sleeping time, you have spent time for us. Really, it's very grateful to us. And really, we can feel that how yoga penetrated each and everything. It is beyond the culture and beyond the world. And from your speech, we can understand very well, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, participants. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you for making this time very fruitful. As your schedule is busy, we can make use of it. And as you said, the yoga is collectively connect the people from all the cultures that we have also connected through your language. Though the yoga is the one of the language through which we could connect to each other. The languages are different, but the yoga is the one language and art and science which connected all the people all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hari Om, Namaste. Namaste. Thank you to all.
thanks.
Participants, thank you for being here and patiently listening to the all the sessions. And now, I hope it was a grateful session to all of you, though the language barrier was there, but yoga has connected all the language, passed through all the language barriers, and you could have got nice information on how we can connect through yoga. Now we again connect at the 2 o'clock, the same meeting ID with new speakers and new dignitaries. I request you all to connect at the 2 o'clock. Thank you.